God is going to surprise you. Yes, it's not going to be conventional. It's not going to be the way you think it's going to be. But believe me, what God have said, what God told you he's going to do, he's going to do. Hello family, welcome back to my channel. Something about us human is that we have this tendency to believe when we are waiting on God for something that it gonna probably happen in the same way maybe it happened in the lives of people in our surrounding. But something that we forget is that God cannot be put in a box. The Bible says that the thought of God are not our thoughts. So this is a lesson that we have to take for ourselves, because most of the time when we try to put ourselves in this mindset, what happens is that when it does not happen that way or in that timing, we begin to lose faith, we begin to faint. And let me take you back in the story of Sarah and Abraham. So the Bible says that they were old when Sarah conceived. Both Abraham and Sarah were old. And in the story you can see that there was even a part where when God promised the child to the couple, Sarah said, okay, maybe it's gonna happen through my servant, because her mind was too small to understand the way that God is going to do it. And the most of the time when you try to understand how God is going to do it, you can easily lose faith, because like I said before, the thoughts of God are higher than ours. And sometimes we cannot understand what God is doing on or how God is going to do it, because like I said before, God cannot be put in a box, and God is so higher. It's like, if you can take the imagery of those small animals, maybe those insects. When you compare yourself to the insect, you see, I don't know if you can see the picture. So I know that it's much bigger than that, but sometimes I like to do this comparison. Imagine an insect thinking. If they can think, imagine yourself. So you have to put yourself in that mindset that it doesn't matter the way it will happen, because this is a way that the devil will trick you. The devil will come and the devil will try to ask you, okay, God said he's gonna do this and that. Do you really believe? Because when you look in your life, you do not have this, you do not have that, and he will try to remind you things that on a point of view on a man makes you impossible to receive this promise. So it's time to break the box and to stop thinking about the process, about the how, and to start believing God for the result. It doesn't matter how God is going to do it. Can you imagine in the story of Sarah and Abraham? Can you imagine a woman of that age having a child? It cannot be explained. Even at that time where the science was not that developed, it couldn't be explained actually. So this is how God works sometimes. So once again, it doesn't matter. So stop trying to compare yourself to the people. Maybe it happened for them that way, but maybe the way it's gonna happen for you is not the standard way. Maybe the way it's gonna happen for you is the unconventional way. It doesn't matter. God can take anything and do everything he wants. The Bible says that there is nothing impossible to God. And if you can come to that mindset that there is nothing that God cannot do, I believe that your mind will change. The way you will even act, your behavior will change. Your faith will increase, because you will believe that it doesn't matter of what you have. You will stop looking into your situation, because you will tell yourself that it doesn't matter of what I have or what I don't have. God can do it. And let me guarantee you, God can do it. If God can create a human being out of just like the sand, imagine what he can do. If God can divide the sea, because I like to read the stories of the Old Testament, because you see really the display of the power of God, things that were like really impossible. Can you imagine a man speaking to the moon or to the sun for them to stop? And it actually happened. Can you only imagine? You see, and this is the reason why you have to stir up your faith with with the stories of the Bible and with faith stories, with testimony. Sometimes you have to put yourself in the mood of the testimony you are waiting for. Sometimes you have to train your mind to believe what God is doing in your life, because our mind is naturally trained to be logic. So the way we think can usually most of the time limit God, the doings of God in our life, because we will have this tendency not to believe. So it's hard time for you to bring back those stories up and to stir up your faith. And I really believe that by doing so, God is going to surprise you. Yes, it's not going to be conventional. It's not going to be the way you think it's going to be. But believe me, what God have said, what God told you he's going to do, he's going to do it. Because there is nothing, once again, there is nothing that God cannot do. Every time those negative thoughts, those questioning thoughts will try to come, remind yourself that there is nothing that God cannot do. And whatever he told you, whatever he said he would do in your life, he will do it, because once again, nothing is impossible. It will happen in the unconventional way for you, and all the praise, all the glory you will give to God. I hope that this have been a blessing for you. If so, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe, and see you in my next video.